find the revolution starting inside. An instrumental part of Agora worldwide. Agora worldwide. Agora worldwide. Counter economics. Agorist strip. Black market click. Move a quick flip. Can't regulate this. Agorist strip. Black market click. Move a quick flip. Can't regulate this. Agorist.
Agorist.
Agorist. Nexus. Agorist.
This is the Agorist Nexus podcast. I'm Brandon. I've got my great co-host Dag. How you doing, Dag?
Doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. Doing another early morning recording here.
Yeah, early morning.
Caffeinated and alcohol free. Oh. We'll let the people decide what's best.
Alcohol free. Yeah.
It's a little early for me.
Yeah. I've got some coffee myself. So, but 100 episodes. Congratulations!
Here we are.
Yeah, and I think you've been now. I want to go over I think the point of this episode is going to be basically just looking back at not just the podcast 100 episodes, but what we've done previously and then what we want to accomplish later on. But before we get into it, shout out to our sponsor, Presearch, Decentralized crypto search engine. Earn crypto as you search, keyword stake to advertise, and get some use out of your coins while you're hodling. Great project started by an anarchist, and get away from Google and all the spying. So with that said, and if you want to easily support us, just click the affiliate link for Presearch, and that will also tell them that we're sponsoring. So with all that said, with this 100th episode, I think it's definitely been a crazy ride for me personally. Lots of ups and downs. I think Dag's just had a lot of ups. So, but he's been truly blessed. But
it's a general move forward, but there's a step back, here or there too. That's how it goes.
Right. Yeah, it's
gotta break a few eggs.
And he's been you've been with us for almost 2 years.
Yeah, dude, I was thinking about it. And
2 years in May, right?
About I came in about episode 20-ish, and I'm like, dude, that's I was thinking about it when you were like, oh yeah, we're gonna be 100 episodes. We got to do something, and I'm like, I don't remember recording 80 episodes, dude. What the fuck? Where does the time go, man? That's crazy. No, we've done that many, dude. It's nuts. I was talking to a friend of mine who he's John Odermatt over at Lions of Liberty, and they've done tons of episodes. And I was talking about a past episode he recorded. He couldn't remember the name of the guest, but he remembered the conversation a little bit, And I'm like, how can you do a podcast and never not remember all of them? Now that I've done 80, I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it. Because we'll be talking. I'm like, oh yeah, we had them on once, right? Yeah. But yeah, man, it's crazy. Yeah, it's been almost 2 years, man. That's nuts.
Yeah, almost 2. 2 in May, I think, right? Yeah, May.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Because I think early May I had you on the podcast just to talk about Radiant Farms. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I want this guy to be my co-host, and yeah, I needed somebody who kind of complimented me in areas that I was a little weaker on, definitely the agricultural side. But
yeah, it's good. It's good pairing,
Yeah, and then I was more on the crypto tech side, so it was and then I had medical manufacturing
I've got a lot
experience.
Of practical skills,
and then you've got the practical skills.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just been it's really good pairing, really good complementary type.
Dude, it was so funny the first several that were crypto, and I had I had no idea. Like I was still so like learning crypto, and I'm like, oh god, I'm so in over my head here. It's like, what am I gonna do? But it's just like anything. When you really get tossed in the fire into something, that's the best way to learn something quickly is just to fucking get in it. So, it ended up being a positive, definitely.
Yeah, and you did great during those episodes. I think you were just kind of like, yeah, I don't.
If I could get one or two decent questions in, I was happy.
Yeah. But that's kind of how I am. Like on some of the more agricultural stuff, or I haven't really done enough 3D printing stuff myself, so it was really nice having you pretty much just like masterfully handle the Control Pew episode and stuff. But great episode, by the way.
Yeah, that was fun. We got to get him back on here now that I'm a bit more experienced with the 3D printing and everything. But yeah, good times, man. And we need like touching music for like a montage in the background. You know what I mean?
We can make that happen, bro.
Yeah,
we'll make it happen.
But yeah, man, we do, that really is like my side of the Nexus is like podcast stuff. But I mean, like, I mean, if anybody out there does just listen to the podcast, like I appreciate that. But yeah, the rest of the Nexus really is like, I mean, in my opinion, like the important side, you know what I mean? Because we've got the great writers with great articles. I mean, I've heard it referred to as a blog, like an Agorist blog. I guess that might be kind of technically true, but I mean, I feel like it's more than a blog, when it comes to the articles and everything. And then the directory and the listings, that's something I really like to grow personally. Is make that bigger because that I just think that's so important is for us to be able to do business with other like-minded people in our own spheres. I think that's very important, and I think there's a lot of promise to that. And that was actually my first exposure to the Nexus at all. Was Tom Woods was talking about it and talking about the directory, and I was like, oh my god, that's the best idea in the world. And I had to like pull over and write it down, so I can get my business on there, and so yeah, man, that's to me that's a really important part of it, for sure. But yeah, man, there's just so much great content, other than the podcast. So if you're just listening to the podcast, I greatly appreciate it. But definitely check out the rest of the shit.
Yeah, I mean, you can even, and I don't know if this is, I think it's still. Let me think. Let me double check here before I say anything. Okay, yeah. You can even trade right now. You can even trade crypto on the site, like directly on our site. You can through Simple Swap, but still. So like, if you want to trade like some BTC for Bitcoin Cash, you can do that directly. You can do that directly on our site without any KYC or anything. It uses an app called Simple Swap.
Yeah, it's awesome. I use it all the time. I like a lot of different swap apps, but Simple Swap it has so many different pairings that it's been able to do most of the swaps I've needed. I love it because it's airdrop to you too. So, it's how should I say this? It's just an easy way to, convert something that might be, like let's say you got BTC and, obviously it's recorded very, very well. That's the point of it, right? So let's say you send BTC, you get something else back. That something else coming back is just appearing. You know what I mean? So, suddenly you have something that's sorry, man, I'm trying to dance around certain words here. Help me out. You know what I'm getting at. How are we supposed to say this?
Yeah, so Bitcoin's on a visible ledger that everybody can see. So basically by, let's say if I wanted a less legible crypto that was not visible, I could trade BTC for like, I think you can trade BTC for Monero on there, XMR.
You can. You can also trade BCH for Monero. That works as well. I just happen to know that, not any particular reason. But yeah, it's great because especially if you are like purchasing something on like a KYC exchange, it's an easy way to shift on over, shift those funds over. So it's it works really well. But that's one of my favorite things about it is it's an easy way to just like start fresh with some fresh crypto that is unattached. But it works really well, and I really like them.
And if you guys do use Simple Swap, if you guys use it on our website, or if you click the affiliate link on on the webpage to access Simple Swap and do it like that, we'll get a tiny kickback. So I mean, and again, we don't really ask for donations very often or anything, but every little tiny thing really adds up and will make a difference. And I believe even the smallest pennies in crypto now could be worth hundreds or thousands when the dollar collapses. So, give a little love, give a little love. And yeah,
it's funny you make that statement because I'm like, dude, like I've got like a couple wallets that have like $3 in BTC in it, and it's like not even worth it to like transfer it out, right? Because of like transaction fees and blah blah blah. But it's like, well, if they're just there after like 10 years, that might actually be significant. So whatever, can sit.
Dude, that was the case, and I heard somebody during the 2017 bull run. I guess he had some stuff from like 2011, just like small amounts in 2011, and he came back to it in 2017 and was like, whoa, this is enough to go on like a vacation right here.
Yeah.
So he was just using his small amounts that he had previously that had shot up in 2017, and he just used them for like family vacations and stuff. So
I think the math works out that like if let's say Bitcoin goes to $1 million, that like each Satoshi will be worth 10 cents at that point. So like that's a lot. If you have just just a little bit sitting around. So yeah, man. Yeah, exciting times, dude. What just happened? Didn't something happen? Like Hillary or Warren Buffett or a bunch of like big people came out and were like talking shit about Bitcoin, saying that it's
Hillary Clinton did. Yeah.
Okay, I thought you posted me about Warren Buffett or something.
So
maybe
yeah,
Hillary, I don't know.
I did post something on Warren Buffett. He had said that years ago, though. He had said that Bitcoin was rat poisoning, and he's right. Except it's rat poisoning for the banks. It's rat poisoning for the governments. He was right.
As a positive.
Yeah.
It's fucking excellent. Oh, so yeah, Hillary said something like, "Oh, it threatens the U.S. dollar as a world reserve," and it's just whenever I see people say things like that, it's like, okay, so you're admitting that there's something better out there, and you just want to use the fucking state to squash it. Like when you say things like that, that's what you're admitting, dude. I don't know if they realize it. They're just so stuck in their own world, but fucking crazy. Right. Anyhow, sorry, I'll get off topic there. What
No, yeah. What are your highlights for the Nexus? Like, are there any events or articles or like anything that we've done that was like a huge highlight for you personally?
Oh gosh, I don't know, man. I'm just so happy to be like
any guests or
and okay, so one of the great things that like even about like coming on and like doing like a podcast has been that if I just have somebody like I'm interested in because like I like a book that they wrote or something they do, like I can just hit them up and be like, yo, come talk to us, and they're like, sure, and they do. So like, and it's been surprising. It's like one of the first people I invited on that was really big was we had Gary Chartier on one of the first episodes, and I was so nervous about having him on and doing that podcast, but he was great. He was easy to talk to. It was so cool of him to come on and talk to us. Control Pew was another one. I was stoked to have him on. So that was really great. And then, we've had a few really cool economists, and, I'm a bit of an econ nerd. So, we had Raymond March on. Honestly, one of the episodes I'm most proud of was the one that we had him on to talk about the history of lobotomies and history of rent seeking in the medical profession. I really enjoyed that one. I thought that one was really good. And then we had all the way up to, we had Patrick Newman on recently to talk about his new book. So that was another PhD economist that we've had access to, which which is just so cool, man. That we can even like say that, like, yeah, we got a couple, we got a couple PhDs, in the books we can hit up. We got anything we got to talk about, So that's really cool. And then, dude, I mean, it's neat, like here recently, like going to like real life meet space celebrity meetups and stuff, running into people who are familiar with us, and she's like, oh, you're Dag, it's like, oh fuck, like that's so crazy.
It gives you some like street cred,
Yeah, sure. Man. I mean, I hate to be, it's not like I don't care about like being like famous or whatever.
Yeah.
But there is. I mean, I am fucking human, and when someone comes up and says like, "Oh fuck yeah, dude, I listened to this episode, blah blah blah, and that was really great." And oh, oh yeah, the one with Rafael Laverde, that was fucking awesome, and it's satisfying. It's like I don't know if validating is the right word, but it's like, okay, it's nice to know that we're the work that we put into this is. People are enjoying it, and people are getting something out of it, so that feels good because I mean what, it's not like a lot of like let's say doing like the podcast, it's like, okay, like when you don't do a podcast you don't realize how much work it is until you start doing one. Oh yeah. Like, wow, it is a lot of work and it's a lot of time, and I even have the luxury of not having to do all the work. Like I have friends who like are a one-man show and they do everything, they edit and they just do fucking everything, and it's like, man, that's tough. That's gonna be a lot of work,
Yeah, I mean, you've got episode art, you've got the editing, you've got everything. You got the record time, you've got and just all the little stuff that comes up, like maybe maybe your audio is not working right, and then later on during the recording, you start having technical difficulties. So it's there's definitely some challenges and stuff that get thrown your way for sure. I think for me, some highlights were the John McAfee episode, which was lost. But I'm really glad that I got to speak with him before I think a year before he died. So.
There was the John McAfee episode. That one's on there.
Yeah. It's on.
That was before my time. Yeah. Oh, it's not on there anymore.
Well, the pod was lost because I transferred it over from one podcaster to one podcast and host service to another, and they had like this automatic transfer thing, which was great and made it easy and transferred over all the episodes nicely. It's just
for that one thing.
Yeah, well, no, there's a couple that didn't get transferred over. So, but it is
a bummer. Well, I'm glad I got to listen to it before it got lost.
Yeah. It is what it is. Especially a lot of the earlier episodes didn't transfer over, and I should double checked it before. I mean, you guys are gonna have to forgive me for that, but Agorist Nexus does take up a lot of my time. Like there's a lot now, and there's even more now than ever. I mean, sometimes I struggle because I'm posting at least one thing a day, and I try not to post like. One of the writers recently was asking me like, well, you've got all this stuff. Like, why don't you just start posting it? And I'm like, well, if I post 5 articles in one day, our viewers, our readers and viewers, they're not going to want to look at all that stuff in just one day. So, we'll dilute our viewership and stuff.
You gotta tease that shit out, man.
Yeah, you gotta spread it out. So, you can't put too much sour cream on the toasted bread. Just on one side or whatever. You gotta spread it. So, but that was. Anyways,
you and your Mexican idioms, you're picking them up already. You can only sour cream one side of the tostada so much, guys. Come on. But yeah, man, I kind of like having 1 or 2 in the bank anyhow too, because then it's like, oh yeah, if something comes up and you can't get something out on time, you got something, you got something you could release.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's see what else. Oh, the Presearch. Well, of course, your episode was a highlight for me. Um, Rafael Laverde was cool. All the crypto episodes were just awesome. I'm like, I can't believe I'm getting all these crypto guys on. And early on too. Like, if anyone heard our crypto episodes when they did and bought, you guys should definitely tip us because
Yeah.
some of you have made like over 500% at least, if that was the case. So, so you're welcome on that one. And then, let's see. Rafael Laverde was always cool.
Yeah, we've had him on a couple times. He's good, man. He's a little over my head sometimes for sure, man. He's very, very fucking intelligent dude, man.
Presearch was
Yeah.
one of our
Yeah.
coolest episodes ever because
Yeah.
I mean,
Colin was awesome.
yeah, so he's so humble and Colin and Anthony Blanchard and Saul Mayweather, they've all got this like one like extremely humble, genuine human personalities about all three of them. So yeah, of course, you know, all those episodes are absolutely great too. All the Saul ones, the Anthony Blanchard one, but the Presearch one is a huge highlight for me just because he had sponsored us right after that, so that was just amazing. And yeah, it's really nice to have his support. Because if he didn't sponsor us, there's no way we'd be where we're at today. There's just no way. So, you know, the amount of change.
Shout out Presearch.
Shout out Presearch. It's just there's no way that we would be where we're at. So who knows? You know, you don't really know like necessarily like the changes that you make in your life.
Mm-hmm.
But or the changes that you make in other people's lives. But Presearch has definitely greatly benefited Agorist Nexus, and I can't thank Presearch enough. So that was a huge thing for Agorist Nexus in general was the Presearch sponsoring. So yeah, and then dude, just all the authors that we have, like I can't even keep up with them. I'm like, you know, it's getting to the point where if you have like a Liberty meetup, it's like almost every Liberty meetup, you'll have somebody from the Nexus, right? Like, you know, if you go to like some kind of Bitcoin meetup in Japan, you know, you'll probably see Graham Smith there, or you know, if you're in Florida, you'll definitely see Dag at one of those meetups, or if there's a meetup in Mexico.
Dude, there's so many of us down here. It's crazy.
If there's a meetup in Mexico, you could see like, you know, me or Lily, or that other writer that's down here too. His name's, and I'll probably butcher it, but Cabra Kierno? I don't know. But yeah.
No offense, man.
But no, Cabra's great. So he actually just came out with the article today, so definitely check that out. It's like I'll get the exact title here. Like hunting. Let me see. Animal markets, hunting, and firearms regulations in Mexico. So yeah. I haven't.
Yeah, I want to read that one. Yeah, so I'll pop up this morning. I was like, ooh, that looks like it's right up my alley.
Yeah, I definitely want to read it because I'm in Mexico and I need to know more firearm regulations, anyways. But yeah, it's not because I follow them, because I don't. It's just like knowing. I feel like knowing the law gives you like more of a. You know,
way to know how to avoid it.
Yeah, you're using their own system against them. So, or you can. So it really helps, and especially like it's like knowing your rights, right? Like the police pull you over, and they say, in the United States, and I was fortunate enough to know my rights at a younger age, so I didn't really get in trouble very often. But they pull you over, and it's like, can we search the vehicle? And actually, when they pulled me over, they're like, we need to search the vehicle, and I was like, no, you can't search. You do not have my consent to do that. You don't have probable cause. You cannot search this vehicle, period. And yeah, that really, just knowing my rights really empowered me, because if I didn't, I'd be like, well, okay, and then get busted. So there's, knowing your rights and knowing the laws can greatly benefit you. So
well, it helps you read the situation. Do I need to lie about this or not?
Yeah. Do I need to use my last move here, or like what? So.
Well, yeah, hey, there's a big difference between someone's going to send you away for 2 months versus 20 years. You know what I mean? How am I going to handle the situation? So,
yeah.
But yeah, it's just I mean, you have to. I've been a firm believer in that. Like, yeah, man, you gotta know their game in order to be able to, not even play it, but when you say you got to know the game in order to play it, like we're trying not to play the game, but in order to avoid it, you know what I mean? You got to know how they operate, and there's always a read your situation kind of thing too. Because like the one time that a cop asked to search my car, I actually did let them, because it was extremely obvious they were looking for a person and they wanted to make sure they weren't in my trunk. There was like 30 cop cars and a helicopter, obviously looking for somebody, you know what I mean? And they pulled me over and they're like, hey dude, we want to take a look in your trunk. And I'm like, no problem, bro. And like they both like drew their weapons and were like had them drawn and like, all right, go ahead and pop the trunk, you know what I mean? It was very obvious, so I was like, boop, let them take a look in the trunk. They're like, all right, brother, have a good day, see ya. I had a keg in the trunk too. I was like 19, like they didn't give a fuck, like I knew that they didn't give a fuck about anything except looking for that person. So I'm like, okay, whereas if they're obviously looking for like a bust or something, then it's like, okay, yeah, you make them go through the everything, because that gives your lawyer something to work with, because they're going to fuck up somewhere procedurally, right? So yeah, knowing how to deal with that, talk to an attorney about like how to handle situations, how to speak, what you're required to answer, what you're not required to answer, et cetera, et cetera. It's all good stuff to know, knowing your rights, but then you also know if you do get busted, you make them go through all their steps, because if they fuck one of them up, you know what I mean? You come out better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead, man.
Absolutely. I like to, when I talk to when they ask me questions, I like to answer them with questions. So it's like, have you been drinking tonight, sir? I'm like, what,
You've been drinking, sir?
No, I just go like, what makes you believe, or, you know what I'm trying to get at, like,
yeah.
Well,
see, dude, I can't do, but I'm a yes sir, no sir, like whatever I gotta say. So you think I'm a good, upstanding young person, and you leave me the fuck alone, and I get to go home tonight. That is my thing.
Well, the more you sound like a lawyer, the more they're like, I don't want to fuck with this guy, and it really works.
Usually the case, yeah.
Like you have drugs in the car, and it's like, what makes you believe that I would have drugs in the car, or like, I don't know, just stupid shit. But or do you have probable cause? Just like, I always,
am I free to go?
Yeah, am I free?
Am I being detained?
Exactly.
I fortunately haven't had to be in many situations, like that, where it's had to come down to that. I mean, I don't know. I'm good at talking to people. I had a cop one time. I was like 19 or 20, and he asked me. He's like, "So what boot camp did you go to?" And he didn't mean military. He meant like prison, like boot camp. Just because of, I think, how much I was saying "sir," and like I just know I'm like keys out of the ignition, keys on the dash, dome light on, hand out the window, fingers outstretched, other hand on top of the steering wheel, fingers outstretched. You know what I mean? When they walk up to me, like I don't give them a fucking reason, you know, like, oh, license registration. All right, it's there and it's there. I'm gonna reach for it. Is that okay, sir? You know, I go, okay, I go, you know, go ahead. Or do you have any weapons in the car? Yes or no, depending on the thing. And it's funny actually, since because like I legally like I got my concealed and everything, but it's like since I've had that, not that I have a lot of police interactions anyhow, because I don't drive crazy anymore, but just having that has been like I hand that to them and they're like, oh, okay, whatever, have a nice day. Like, okay, you know you've got a clean record. If they know that since I have a gun on my hip, it's a whole thing to do anything. They have to like pull me out of the car and like disarm you know what I mean, to do like a safe stop or whatever. So they're just like, whatever, man, get out of here. So, you know, I don't know. Like I said, read your situation, man. Just depends. I'm not saying that the way you handle things is wrong by any means. That's not what I'm saying. That's just the way I do it because I want to fucking go home tonight. That's always my thing.
Yeah, well, I've always pretty much done the same thing, and I've always been fine, except for some cop did pull a gun on me, but that sucked. And because now I don't know like all of his reasonings, but he did seem like a psychopath, and this was all because my license plate tags were expired on the back. So yeah, I mean that really reaffirmed my belief in like, okay, you know, if something's illegal, it doesn't matter like how big or small it is, they will kill you to enforce it. So
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, you know, maybe he's just having a bad night, or that maybe they were looking for a similar vehicle. I don't know all of the reasonings behind it, but yeah, that wasn't a very you know, I'm just glad that I'm here today. So for sure,
yeah.
Maybe he's just trying to scare me or something.
Yeah, and then they get off with whatever if they do shoot somebody, you know, and even if it's an accident, you know, because of some situation like that, you know, or whatever, you know, yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. But you should have just complied.
Yeah, I should have just complied. Well, the crazy thing was when I started to yell at him and like, because when he pointed the gun at me, I had so much adrenaline going through me, like it was like fight or flight, and I chose fight, and I had I just had this huge adrenaline rush, and I just started yelling at him, and I kind of scared him a little bit, and he, you know, that's what got him to holster it, and you know, all this other shit, and then like their supervisors came and was like, hey, look, when this happens, blah blah blah, do you understand? And I was like, I don't fucking understand. When I told him I don't understand, I don't believe that you guys were doing the right things, and they kept trying to tell me like, oh, you understand that we're just trying to protect people, and I was like, I don't understand that. You weren't protecting me.
Hold a gun, dude. That's what you're talking about.
And so like they got into like this like, oh shit, like, you know, we should just leave this guy alone, like that. So I do feel like there's a place, definitely with authority. I think like if it gets bad enough that if you show that you're not just going to be a compliant little bitch, that I think that there is an advantage to that. And sometimes they will just like, you know, back off, especially if they see you've got some balls. Now, I'm not saying like go up to a cop and hit him in the face, right? But like in terms of like my situation where it was like, you know, this guy felt like he had enough power over me just to pull a gun for, you know, for nothing. And I don't know the exact reason. Maybe they were looking for somebody. Maybe there was something else going on. Maybe there's a similar view. I don't know. Right.
Yeah. I mean, in fairness, the descriptions they get are pretty shitty sometimes. And it's like, but that's why they should err on the side of caution for the safety of the general public, because that's their whole thing as well. I'm going to pull a gun, even if it's not the right person, because I want to go home to my family. And it's like, well, what about that person who you're sworn to protect or what the fuck ever? I don't know what the fuck, ritual they go through, but it's like, yeah, man, like, so you don't get to have that superior attitude of saying, we're just out there to help people and put our lives on the line, when you also have the attitude, well, I'm just going to shoot some civilian because it's better them than me. You know what I mean? Which, I mean, hey man, like, we were talking about egoism, you know what I mean? Like, that might not be a true statement, but doesn't mean that I have to respect you and I get to think you're a piece of shit. Your profession is, evil, because of that. So, yeah, man, it's fucked up. I had one of my best friends growing up, his dad was a former police officer. He was the only person who ever, like, even more than like my family or whatever, who's had a lot of bad experiences with the cops, but even more than my family, who taught us how to behave around an officer, kind of thing. Like, you know what I mean? He says it, and again, whether or not this is right or wrong, it's true. He's like, look, that officer is going to go home to his kids, you know what I mean? Like that night. So like, he taught us about like, you don't reach for the glove box, you how to make sure they're not scared.
Or if you
know
do,
what I mean?
or if you do reach for the glove box, you tell them, hey, I need to get into my glove box.
Yeah. You ask, like, hey man, that's where my registration is. Because even if they say, let me see your registration, obviously in this glove box is where everybody's is. But you just reach for it, and people get shot over that. Even after they ask you for your registration, it's fucking retarded. So, hey guys, quick pause here to tell you about our sponsor, Devault Cryptocurrency. Ticker symbol DVT is a low cap coin with a market cap around 900,000. So there could be room for opportunity here. Not financial advice, but we really like this project.
Yeah, the Devault core wallet is one of the best I've ever seen. Very user friendly, super easy to use with cold staking rewards. So it's like getting interest. They're working on privacy with Terraform, also DeFi to decentralize and replace financial institutions.
So go ahead and check them out over at devault.cc and get you a Devault core wallet today. Also, be sure to check out the show notes to find exchanges that they are traded on. With that said, let's get back to the show. But yeah, he was one of the first people we did to teach us about, like, hey, here's how you don't get murdered by the cops. You know what I mean? He didn't quite use that wording, but that was basically what he was teaching us, But it's funny because that is what you hear too, is that like, police teach their kids not to talk to police. You know what I mean? Like, you look at how cops teach their children how to act around cops. And it's, that should paint the picture you need, because they're like, yeah, don't make any sudden movements. Don't answer questions, or shit like that.
Well, if you just look at cop locker rooms, all their lockers have fucking locks on them. I mean, that right there should tell you.
Cubby rooms. Yeah. It's cop locker rooms, not cubby rooms.
Yeah, and they lock them. So, but I don't want to make this whole episode about cops. But yeah, I'd say another huge highlight for the Nexus is of course, the documentary. It's really, it's short, sweet. It's really good. And hopefully it inspires more 3D printing, especially for firearms. And, I really believe that if there's enough 3D printing firearms out there, if just everyone has one, that it will just make them so dizzy with it that it's just like, well, there's nothing we can do about it now.
It's critical mass already, dude. I mean, it has to be. What is it, like a third of all the guns they're confiscating in California are fucking ghost guns now?
Yeah.
That's just what guns are in those states where you're not allowed to have guns. It's like, oh, they're just ghost guns now. It proves the fact that you can't regulate that shit away. Like us and people in our ilk have always said, but it's also, it's just heartwarming because they don't know how many of them there are. They're just there. People are making them. People are doing it, dude. There's more pictures from Myanmar of FGC 9s that they're finding out, dude. Those motherfuckers are just manufacturing FGC 9s over there. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. And I want to see huge innovations. Like, I want to see full autos go out, and fuck the government, right? Like, how are you gonna restrict self-defense? And that's another cool thing about our documentary is all of it's in Spanish. Like, all of it has hard-coded Spanish subtitles in it, So if you know anybody in, who only speaks Spanish, you can give them you can give them the link to that documentary, and they can completely understand it. So, but a really cool thing about that team, that documentary team, was like, I needed more people, because I mean the people that I already have were like great, right? But like I was already giving them so many projects that it was like, well, let me just see if I can create a whole another team, and start off Agorist Nexus Studios, and it turned out great. Like I had no previous work experience with any of them. They just told me what they could do, and they did it and passed with flying colors, and made something amazing. And it was a lot of work. It's only a 6 or 7 minute documentary, but
you don't realize how much work that shit is until you work on a video project. It's like, oh shit, it's a lot.
There's a mountain of work that goes behind it. This next documentary is obviously going to be a lot longer, a lot more knowledge, a lot more like sources and like fact checking and like research and knowledge intensive, and stuff like that. So I think we've got a good team for it, and it's a lot. It's 10 times the amount of work for the other one, and hopefully we can get it released in summer of 2022, if we still have power by then. But
we'll have bigger problems if we don't. So
yeah,
the documentary might be the least of my worries at that point.
And don't quote me on the exact date. Like I've never put out dates. Well, I don't want to say never. I think maybe on a Used Guys podcast I'd set a date, but
for the same reason I don't like to put out dates is the same reason I don't like to use the term never.
Exactly.
Because I'm inevitably going to be proven wrong.
Yeah. I don't like to put out dates though. And if I do say a date, I'll say it may or may not be there on that date. So yeah, but hopefully we can get it out. I don't know. I want to say summer of 2022. Yeah, cool. I think it's possible, but
yeah, that might be doable.
I
don't know what I'm talking about.
Another great thing about the Nexus is like all of the writers and all the people that do stuff contribute to the site. There's a couple people who aren't writers that are behind the scenes. A couple of those are the ones that were working on the documentary and stuff. But if you look at all of us, we're extremely like diverse. We're global.
Yeah.
3 of us are in Mexico, one's in Japan, one's in Canada, one's in, Norway.
Agora worldwide.
It really is. Colombia, I mean, Colombia, Spain. Yeah, we're all over the place. So.
Hell yeah, man. I just love the thought of, Agorist hives and all these different places doing stuff, making freedom, all that good stuff in their own niche ways. Oh, I love it.
All right.
A weird affinity for the market. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I just came out with the tweet today, and well, I saw the tweet is that that these smugglers were fixing these roads so that they could smuggle stuff more easily and better into Russia from Belarus, and they were like fixing this road alongside of this thing. And there's like an ANCAP ball there. And I'm like, dude, I'm so fucking triggered right now. So I personally like photoshopped this thing to fucking put a Agora ball there, because it's like, dude, these smugglers are fixing the road. Like, this is like Agorist. This isn't like ANCAP at all. So
it's funny because it's like, that's awesome, by the way, that they're doing that. And it's like, yeah, it's, so if we look at it from the from a very, like, let's say I'm gonna say like a simple perspective of like, well, because what do we say, like, traditionally who's built the roads, right? The merchants, and that's like one thing I would say. Yeah, I'm sure Walmart would just sit in the middle of the woods with no way for people to get to it and spend money. You know what I mean? Like, they build a fucking road. That's always what I think. We build the roads. So that is, yeah, the merchants are building the roads, but it is just so sweet that, yeah, it's smugglers who are the merchants who are building the roads. You know what I mean? It's fucking awesome. Fucking love it. How many people are they helping? Not just from getting their products around, but from fixing the fucking roads,
Yeah, and that really defeats the whole entire road argument, like you said, who built the roads?
Yeah.
It's like, well,
whoever's going to make fucking money from them being there, that's who.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it helps them move merchandise. So, I mean, the merchants will have an incentive to at least
build, maintain, keep them safe from robbers and fucking highwaymen and shit. You know what I mean? They have incentives to do all those things,
and especially if there's
all
no
those services that we think government needs to do.
Yeah, and they'll be able to do that way easily if there's like zero taxes and zero regulations. They'll be able to do all that with,
if they don't have to compete with the state.
Exactly, compete with the state, or just be like extorted by them. But yeah, it's
something like Bob Murphy points out a lot. It's like when we talk about like, oh, the reason that like drug dealers have to use violence to, or that's why, legalize prohibition's bags, and drug dealers have to use violence to enforce their things. And he's like, yeah, that's true. But what's also true is that they wouldn't need to use violence if they could just have a store, right? If they didn't have to like sling on the corner and rely on fear, if they could just have a store with bulletproof glass, like they wouldn't be getting robbed in order to need to violate. You know what I mean? Like, it cuts all that shit out if they were just allowed to exist. It's just in so many like different levels. It would just be better. There wouldn't be the need for that violence that they only need because government makes it illegal. They would just be allowed to operate as a nice, safe business.
Yeah, the government created that violence. The government, the government is chaos. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just on so many levels, things could just be so much better. All right, let's take a quick second to shout out Agorist Acres Seeds. AgoristAcres.com stocks a variety of seeds for your garden or homestead. They also have really cool packaging instead of those silly paper envelopes.
Buy seeds with crypto, support the counter economy, and become self-sustaining today. Agorist Acres offers fast shipping so you can get started right away.
Make sure you use code Nexus10 at the checkout for 10% off of your orders. Also, they will donate a portion of the sale to Agorist Nexus, helping to bring you all the great content you expect. And all right, let's get on with it.
Yeah, for sure. What do you, okay, so I guess, what do you want to see for Agorist Nexus going forward? Like, is there anything that you want to see that we haven't done yet? Or,
I mean, I'd obviously like to see us get bigger and reach more people. I mean, that's ultimately the goal, right?
To spread Agoras, and we have to have more followers, right?
I feel like, and I mean, maybe I'm just not exposed to another outlet that's doing more of it, but I mean, I think we are like the leading Agorist whatever you want to call this thing. I mean, a
Website,
group, organization, blog, website, what the fuck ever, I think that we're the biggest. I've been told by several people that we're the biggest and best out there that they found, fucking Sal said that to us, and I was like, oh my God, that's great. It made me feel warm and fuzzy. But yeah, man. So I love that, but that being said, I want to reach more people, like I said earlier, I would love for the directory to be more. I think that is super awesome. I think that's super important. So yes, listeners, if you know anybody who's liberty minded who has a business, let's fill that fucking thing up. And when you got to do your Christmas shopping coming up, hey man, take a stroll through there, see what you can find. But yeah, I want to see that blow up. And then, as far as the podcast goes too, I guess that is my main area of concern here is, I just want us to keep doing our thing, man. I'm excited to talk to more people. I want us to get better at it. It's funny, we're 100 episodes. That's a big milestone, but compared to a lot of podcasts, that's still nothing. 100 episodes is just getting started. So, I want to work to be a better podcaster for you guys and have a show that we can all get something out of. And, it's cool. The people in the last year and a half that I've been able to talk to has just been amazing that I've gotten that opportunity. I'm looking forward to it in the future. And, we just in the next couple of weeks, we have some really cool people lined up that I'm really excited about. So, it's, yeah, man, it's just great. But anyhow, to finish up actually answering the question, I don't know, man. Yeah, I want us to reach more people, dude. And I want to help. Markets and entrepreneurism is just gets me hot, man. So, I want that directory to blow up, man. I want to help facilitate people, spending money in our spheres. That's just incredible. And that makes us all better off. So yeah. So there you have it.
Cool. Yeah. What I really need to do is completely rebuild the whole entire website. And make it completely private and decentralized. And that's my ultimate goal for, or one of my many, I don't want to say ultimate. My ultimate goal is to, spread agorism and connect entrepreneurs, of course. But
you need an Agorist decentralized website hosting service. That has to exist, right?
Yeah, it does. But
okay.
There's a lot that goes into basically creating a extremely private, decentralized website. So that's going to take a lot of resources and time to create. But that's definitely, on my list and to be done in 2 years. So
yeah.
Yeah, and then we're getting another writer, and so that will be 15 total. It's like I said in a post that we've got 15 writers. It's not 100% official yet, but I believe that they had basically said that they wanted to do it and that they were going to do it. I just haven't announced who it is yet because it's not 100% official. But I believe that they will write for us. So that's why I said 15. And it's actually hard to keep track of. I'm like, man, are we at 15 writers now? But
that's a lot of people, dude.
Yeah,
it's a lot of talent.
It is, and I think the cap will be 16. So I don't think I can do more than 16 writers. I'm already. That's another thing too. Which website or article website or blog or whatever you want to call it. Which one of those has 15 writers? It's
yeah, it's a lot. Especially, our content's free. So like that's really cool, because otherwise, yeah, there's a lot of people have like Substacks or whatever, which is great. I mean, I'm not talking
Yeah,
shit
we're
about
not the
that at all.
same.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, if you do it, and if you can get some money for your writings by all fucking means, fucking do it. You know what I mean? I subscribe to a Substack or two. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, we got it out there available to everybody, so that's that's really cool, and that's just this model that we like. Obviously, if you want to pay us for it, please do.
Yeah.
But we want to make sure this information's available. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's our main goal, is to spread agorism, and it's harder to do that if we're charging people to see our content. And
and that's one of the things that's great about agorism, and that I love it and draws me to it, is that anybody can participate. If you, no matter how rich or poor you are or whatever, or how advanced you are in libertarian theory or not advanced in libertarian theory, it's something that everybody can, and most people on some level do participate in. So it's just I don't know, just one of the things that makes me really enjoy it.
yeah, and the same goes for supporting us too. Is like, you can support us if you don't have any, like, you can support us and help us even if you don't have any money, or you can support us if you do, right? Like, pretty much any of like the affiliate links you see on the side of our website, if you like click any of those, like if you were to sign up for Presearch or LBRY, I probably need to change that like to an Odyssey button. Or if you were to buy something with like Agorist Acres and put in Nexus 10, or use Simple Swap or get Unstoppable domains. If you do any of those things on the side right there, which like most of those are pretty much free and easy to do, you'll be supporting us. So those are great ways that you can support us really easily, and almost a lot of them for free. So definitely keep that in mind, because we do have some overhead now. We do have a lot of people that we need to do payouts for. So yeah, every little bit helps for sure.
Shit, yeah. Yeah, man, I don't know. We got anything else? I think this has been it's been exciting. I can't even believe it. We're at a fucking 100 already.
Yeah, fucking 100.
Fucking 100.
I think a big thing for me with the Agorist Nexus, like one of my most cherished moments, was when I didn't have any authors, dude. I didn't have any authors at all. And I was going around looking for authors, and like, I talked to like a couple big names, and they're like, nah, like, I don't even know if you're going to pay. Like, nobody knows you, and, and when I talked to Storm, that's when he had gotten Wendy McElroy. And I was like, dude, I get two great Agorist writers, my first Agorist writers right off the bat. And it was so amazing. And I mean, everybody should know who Wendy McElroy is. I think she should be up there with the big names. She's done so much stuff. She's so amazing. She's got multiple award-winning books. She's written for the best websites out there. She's a great writer, very knowledgeable. She was mentored by Rothbard. She was Konkin's drinking buddy. I think she's more on the, like, of course, she's more on the like anti-political side of it. If you look at Konkin and Rothbard, I think she's more on the anti-political Agorist side of things. But and yeah, it's been super cool having correspondence with one of the greats, and having one of the one of the greats, write for my website, and I really, it really gave us, it really, like, we were like legit, like when we had gotten Wendy McElroy, I don't think you were with us then, Dag, but when we first got her, but yeah, when we had gotten Wendy McElroy.
Yeah, I wasn't. I wasn't there yet. Or that was before my time.
When we had gotten Wendy McElroy, it just like, okay, like, we're legit. That was like the feeling. So I think that's like one of my. It's probably like the highlight of Agorist Nexus when we got Wendy McElroy.
Yeah, it's pretty dope, man. Definitely.
So huge thanks to Wendy. Agorist Nexus.
We had Victor Coleman on twice. I didn't mention that earlier. That awesome episode.
Oh.
Victor motherfucking Coleman talking about people who hung out with Konkin.
Oh yeah, one of the greats. Victor Coleman. Yeah, it's great having him on. And what he's doing with the Agorist archives.
Yeah.
He actually shout out. He actually just posted a picture of Konkin. I think he got from the Agorist archives that nobody's really seen before, but I think it's Konkin smoking weed.
Nice. That's a good addition because we have the two. We have him looking really ridiculously funny in his mustache and glasses, and then there's Fat Konkin. And those are like the two pictures we got, So we definitely need a better one.
Yeah, we don't have many pictures of Konkin out there, but yeah, that picture of him smoking is totally cool. And but yeah, huge thanks to Victor for coming on and what he's doing with Agorist Archives, and huge thanks to Wendy McElroy. The site would never ever be the same without her, and I don't want to get too emotional, but yeah, never be the same without Wendy McElroy. So yeah, that's all I got. What do you got?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think that's about it, dude. This has been great. I'm excited for the next 100.
Yeah, excited for the next 500.
Oh, yeah. You're optimistic. I'm not. I'm just. I'm just a take it 100 at a time kind of guy. What can I say?
Yeah, you got.
Tom Woods just did episode 2000.
Yeah, you got to think big, Dad.
Up to do.
You got to think big, man.
Yeah. But what Scott Horton has like 5,500 episodes. It's crazy. I know people are machines. Yeah. He's got 5,500 interviews. Dude, he'll record like 9 or 10 in a day. Like interviews like with people. It's fucking nuts, dude. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah, and then he writes books on top of that. It's like,
yeah, man. Yeah, Scott's a machine, dude. It's crazy, and I met him a couple times, and he's just such like a laid back skateboard stoner. Like I don't know, man. It's incredible. It makes me feel good that there's at least another like skater stoner who's that successful, and that like good. He's actually been a couple. I don't know if you probably don't watch mainstream news. I don't either, but I've seen him. He's been on Kennedy on Fox a couple times here recently, which I have been loving because, man, we want to talk about platforming for for changing minds and spreading a message or whatever. Getting Scott Horton on network television, I think, is on Fox at that is probably. I mean, that's just huge. I mean, putting him in front of Fox viewers is, because his anti-war stuff is just so strong that I think that is probably one of the best things, as far as people being platformed. That's I just love that. I love that they're putting him on, that Kennedy's getting him on there because that is, war is just like the most terrible fucking thing, so any anti-war message we can get out there that can, be put in front of, well, who tend to be pro-war people. I just love. So sorry, tangent, but yeah, that's great. So anyhow, yeah, man, I don't know. We got anything else today on this?
No, I got a quote.
All right, man, let's do it.
The basic principle which leads a libertarian from statism to his free society is the same which the founders of libertarianism used to discover the theory itself. That principle is consistency. Thus, the consistent application of the theory of libertarianism to every action the individual libertarian takes creates the libertarian society. Samuel Edward Konkin III. So basically, every action you take, libertarian action you take, helps create a libertarian society. And I would even say that every statist action that you take helps create a statist one. So whether that be paying taxes, voting, following rules and regulations, you are helping to create more of this tyrannical statist society. And every libertarian action you take, and not doing something, I guess, could be like not voting, I guess, would be taking a positive action to avoid that, right? Or, avoiding taxes and creating your own libertarian networks and things of that nature, creating things that would circumvent the state or making them obsolete altogether, like, cryptocurrency and 3D printers and all this other stuff, helps create a more libertarian society. So, Agorist Nexus out.
Peace.